Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back from a HYME hiatus, and it is HYME time yet again. We are here in the beautiful Pale Oak Village. Man, that fountain and courtyard and market is looking quite nice. But we are here to break down the artist's house in the village. We have a little artist who lives out here in the woods, and let's just say that he has himself chefed up quite the masterpiece. And I'm going to be kind of breaking down this build that I've been working on. And it's really cool because the brand new shelves and the copper lanterns and chains came out. So I'm incorporating them into this build. You can kind of see the copper lanterns and chains hanging there from the bottom floor for some lighting. We've got some frog lamps a little bit higher up that are illuminating inside the build and the top of the exterior. But I think that the copper uh, lanterns and chains are going to look really good with this palette once they're oxidized. So we'll see how long it takes for them to oxidize. Some of them are already oxidizing, like that one over there, that one. One of them inside has oxidized fully. And then, guys, I am a major fan of shelves. I have incorporated them into this build. It's basically a brand new half slab in Minecraft. And what I did for this build that I think is really nice and should be shouted out real quick before we go and take a look at the interior of the build is I used shelves to actually line the needle going up from the center of the roof. I think it looks really good because it adds a lot more texture and shaping. When you do just regular planks going up, it kind of just looks unfinished and like kind of a little noob-esque. Not the most like refined building techniques, but all it took was just adding a little bit of shelves bordering around the needle before the plank and then the posts, and it gives it a whole lot more texture and depth and shaping to the needle. And then another feature on the exterior that I want to talk about real quick before we dive into the interior is the shelves that are lining kind of the border of the entryway to the house over there. It adds a lot of shaping. I used like stairs to kind of build up into it. And then another feature that I wanted to just point out is this was my first time building diagonally. And so we actually did a diagonal hall with a diagonal roof, and we even put in a diagonal window. And you can kind of walk in, go up to the window, and look out over the beautiful Pale Oak Town. All the different homes, the Watchtower, Blacksmith Home, the beautiful Book Nook Library, and the Marketplace so far. We've got a few more builds coming. I'm going to break down the Pale Oak Vacation Home over there soon. That one I am quite proud of. It's very beautiful, has a lot of cool features as well. What a beautiful, beautiful artist home this is. We were building diagonally. We are building with the brand new copper lamps and chains, and we are building with shelves. And man, not only does this build look good from the front, it looks good from every single angle. You know, I think that if you're gonna do a build, you should try and flesh out the land around it. I'm gonna be really fleshing out the land of the Pale Oak Village here pretty soon. Gonna do some custom trees, custom shrubbery, and we're gonna add some more pale moss around the floors and also maybe some cobbled mossy stone and like deep slate and stuff to kind of really make it feel like its own biome. But as you can see, every single angle of the artist's home here is very beautiful and unique and detailed, and I really tried to flesh out all angles of the builds that I work on. Well, I'm going to be going and breaking down the building process that I did and kind of show you guys the whole project from start to end after I give kind of a refined view of the finished product. Just for those who don't want to stick around and see the whole building process and understand everything. But so this is where I started the building process, was this small little tower over here. And we'll, oh, I can't walk inside. I'm pretty uncoordinated. Here we go, guys. We are in the artist's home. We are breaking in. How exciting. And we are actually underneath the artist's quarters, his working quarters. Got some lamps laid out around, just because I wanted to just show off the oxidization as we go along, and I'm excited to see the lamp slowly change over time. I think the green lighting is really beautiful too. But this is where the artist does a whole lot of his work. You know, we've got some particle effects from the pale oak leaves that are coming down. I really like the roofing design. We slowly built up to the middle section, and I kind of let the roof be shown from the interior just because it adds a lot of depth and shape. And then I really like using the leaves as a cross section with the moss there in the corners. Looks really nice. The frog lamps are a great light source. I used yellow on this build. On the vacation home, we used the white frog lamps. Just a little bit of a contrasting light palette between the two builds. I can't say differentiation, so we're gonna just say contrast. Oh no, that was pretty good. I almost said it correct there. But basically the artist, he comes up here. He is really intertwined with nature. He loves being integrated with nature. Look at that. See what I'm saying? The totally oxidized lanterns, it goes really good in contrast with the moss here because it's kind of like grayish green, you know? Not really that much green. But I feel like the green works really well with this shade of gray. So I'm excited to see all of the other lanterns that are all around this build slowly change as well. But back to the breaking down the artist quarters here. He loves to be intertwined with plants. You know, we've got shrubberies over here. These little mangrove roots here give it cute little happy arms. I bordered off the windows of this tower with stairs for windowsills, and we lined those with plants and lighting. And then he has some of his smaller works of art just kind of bordering all around in his artist quarters here. You know, he's got some storage in his art quarters for some canvases, quills, ink, stuff like that. He can store it away up there in the corner. You know, he's got a table with a lamp, so it's all lit up. And, you know, if he gets really tired, he doesn't feel like going to his bedroom. He can take a little nap, doze, lay here, look up at his art, look up at his nature, and contemplate his future pieces. Then when he wants to get to work, he has a chair he can sit in and work on his canvases right here on this little artist table as he looks out over the beautiful Pale Oak Village for inspiration. So that's kind of the artist quarters here. I bordered the floor with leaves and we kind of put tile and planks underneath so that way it doesn't look unrefined with dirt blocks being seen through the leaf particles. And then if we go through here, this is my first time ever building diagonally. So we bordered it all off. We have a really nice roof with a midsection with the pale oak planks beating in the center and then building up with the deep slate tile. And then we have a great, beautiful diagonal window, which I'm really proud of. And this overlooks a different part of HYME. Looks out. Oh man, there's a lot of creepers. That is very alarming and scary. I'm terrified of creepers. Looks out over the fountain. Looks out over, you know, some of the smaller builds over there. We can see the blacksmith home. We can see the nook. We can see different builds that we couldn't see from the artist quarters. I mean, we probably could from that top window, but and then I really wanted the artist to kind of feel as though he just has nature all intertwined with him. I feel like art and nature go hand in hand. So we put some more leaves, kind of bordering and adding more texture to the roof. And then we did some hanging pale moss to give it more depth. Not too much, but just a little bit. And then, you know, I love fireflies. There's fireflies in the floor all around the build. Whenever you see particle effects, it's either the leaves or the fireflies. I'm not really seeing any particle effects. Oh, there we go. Getting some particle effects from the leaves. But yeah, I'm a huge fan of the firefly bushes. You can hide them away if you think they're ugly. I like to even show them off because I think they just look really cool. The glimmering of the fireflies in the bushes. But let's work our way upwards. We got more lanterns, of course, that are going to change over time. This is one of the ones that is fully oxidized, I think. Looks fully oxidized. But this is kind of a miscellaneous storage area for the artist. It is very beautiful. I think, having barrels up top, you can just store anything, store some coal if you want to do some smelting, got a few furnaces. Of course, we have more potted plants all around, incorporated in the build, really bringing the nature into the home here. Kind of a hippie's house, if you will. And then I also incorporated some shelves right here for more texture and border. You can also like store things, store tools, stuff like that. A few instances of hanging pale moss from the ceiling just for more depth. Got more depth with the leaves bordering on the interior as well. I really like this. This is stripped pale oak logs. Almost looks like marble. Looks really good, really fine. And you can get some dope patterns with that color. I don't even know what this block does, but I just wanted it in here for some variety. Got stone cutter. Just a bunch of multi-purpose blocks in here that we can use. I'm very scared to go outside. We'll go outside real quick. Let's see. So right here, we bordered it with pale oak trapdoors, and we also did a bunch of the shelves again, and it gives it a whole bunch of texture and depth. Looks really good. So you can not only use the shelves for like bordering for needles, building up for roofs and stuff like that, like we did over there. You can also do it for interior design or building depth for doorways. So I tried just, a plethora of different ideas so far for the shelves. I'm very excited to keep working with them. And now, let's keep on going up. This is the master quarters. It's the love chamber for the artist. He takes his art partners here, and they admire his most divine and anointed works, such as the Mona Lisa pig. And basically, the artist, he made this beautiful chimera pig, and it's like part lion, part pig, with a girl riding on it. And, it's insane. I have no idea what was going through his head. I don't know what kind of psychedelics he was on when he created this, but he was cooking. He made a beautiful, skeletal mixed with looks like nature picture. And we've got the Donkey Kong video game right here. He's a huge fan, so he made one of his favorite levels from that as a painting. And yeah, we got the lever chamber, ender chest, of course, another very useful block for the build. In case anyone needs to access an ender chest in the pale oak, they can just run over to this build, grab it real quick. Some more hanging pale moss, and a really nice master bedroom, and really great ceiling design with white glass, more stripped logs, and then regular logs over there in the corner, and a very beautiful picture of a cow with its horns, and its abstract art is just quite beautiful and awesome. So this is the master bedroom for the guy, for our awesome pale oak artist. Then we've got an internal garden, because he loves nature. So he's got a whole bunch of flowers and plants, helps keep the air fresh, helps keep, the atmosphere lively. I love these potted little plants from the lush caves. They look really good. Little pink flowers in them. I'm a huge fan of these flowers. I think they look really cool, just how they're budding and blooming in all directions instead of having just a singular flower. It's kind of like those wildflowers you would see out on like the trailheads of mountains, just very small but budding in all directions from a vine. So yeah, I think that this internal garden looks really good. I think the floor looks great. I wasn't sure, if incorporating glass for the floor would be like weird or good, but I think it looks really great. And having the corners sectioned off with the pale oak logs is awesome. It looks beautiful. Then we go on up to the top, and we've got another really beautiful ceiling work. A little bit of depth going on with the leaves, middle stump. And then this is our storage area where he stores all of his treasures that he amasses from selling his artwork, which you guys can help me acquire treasure for my artwork by subscribing to HYME. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, guys, if you think that this build is beautiful and you're a fan of the Pale Oak Village and you're excited to see what direction it's going. Because there's a lot more builds to break down and show off. And I have some major builds that I'm about to get cooking up in the Pale Oak Village as well. And copper will be incorporated in one of them for sure. So it'll be, a joint copper slash Pale Oak build. And I think the palette, it was really hard. I've done some planning out in creative just to get some schematics going. But yeah, guys, this breaks down the entirety of the beautiful artist home of the Pale Oak Village. And now I will be going in depth through the whole building process for those who wanted to see like tips and tricks of how to do the roofing, like how to shape the roof in the manner that I shape the roof. You know, like how did we like section off every single floor? How did we get the windowsills installed? All of that. How did we come up with the needle? We're going to be going step by step, breaking down the whole build process in the next video.